This is me, and 217. And I just finished my artwork of Invincible in the Marvel Rivals art style, and I'm watching that video right now. And I'm feeling pretty good, until I noticed my phone started blowing up. Wait, no, not like that.
My phone started ringing, and it was a call from my wife. But I had to hit ignore, because I noticed that I have some messages from you guys, which is way more important.
Hey, do another Marvel Rivals
We
video.
want more Marvel Rivals!
I love your Marvel Rival stuff. Make another one, please.
Hey, it's your mother. I need you to do another Marvel Rivals video. Oh, and How to Train Your Dragon is coming out, so get to it.
At first, I thought, did I put my paperwork in last night? And then I realized something. I know exactly what I need to do. So today, I'm gonna draw Hiccup and Toothless in the style of Marvel Rivals. Let's get started. Every good drawing starts with an idea, and Marvel Rivals doesn't do boring. We're talking stylized, heroic, high-tech, awesome characters. And although I do digital art, I said do. And I have this awesome tablet and pen. You can use whatever you have available. So grab your sketchbook, grab your pencil, some markers to color, or some crayons, and get drawing. Oh wait, what am I actually going to draw? Sometimes I have trouble starting my artwork, but don't worry, that's why I have my other tools, like my phone. When you need references and inspiration, you can easily go on Pinterest. You can look up reference photos for your characters that you're drawing. In this case, Hiccup and Toothless. You can also look up references for the style, which is Marvel Rivals. But if you want to go even deeper, you can even look up some costume design ideas and some pose references. And speaking of pose references, I also have these awesome pose figures, which you can use to put into any poses. And if you don't have a pose figure or you can't find accurate poses on Pinterest, you can always jump into those goofy poses yourself and take a couple of photos. I drag all of my references into one place and I think I have my idea. So it's time to start sketching. Sometimes your sketch is going to look sloppy, and that is okay, that's fine, as long as you can understand it so you can fix it up later. I like to start my sketches loose and get the basic shapes down before I add in details like costuming.
And sometimes you're gonna have to go back to your references, so grab that pose figure or continue looking at your references. Just go back and forth as needed.
Drawn in a while, so I probably should have warmed up. But after a lot of pain and suffering, I finally finished my sketch of Hiccup. And it looks pretty good, but I need to continue and sketch in Toothless. Now, I don't have a pose figure of a dragon, but I do have my own creature. I have a Shady. Right, buddy? And if you don't have a Shady, or your Shady is not cooperating like my Shady, then you could just look up poses from the movie. Get stills from the movie or video game or whatever it is that you're drawing. And one tip I have for you when drawing multiple characters in a scene is to have them interact. That brings them more together and it makes it look more like a finished piece. It helps it look more natural. So I sketched Hiccup's hand on Toothless's back. This also allows me to skip drawing that hand. Sketchwork finally done, and now it's time to move on to the next step in the process, inking. Time for the satisfying part. Clean line art, but not too clean. I like to vary the thickness of my lines to show light and shadow. Thick lines are in the shadows and thinner lines where the light is going to be. You can also use this to show depth. But in the Marvel Rivals art style, the line art, if it is there, is pretty uniform and thin. So I can't do that this time. So start going over your sketch in a cleaner fashion with no sloppy sketches. nice lines. Nice lines done, and now we color. But before we get to that, it's already past my puppy's bedtime, so I need to read them a bedtime story. I start reading them my book, Boy Awesome and the Snotpocalypse. This is a fun story about a kid who's just trying to be a superhero. I even put in how to draw pages and awesome animation pages, but this got them too excited, so they didn't get to sleep. So I guess it's back to coloring. Coloring makes this thing pop and look more complete. I'm going with a war-ready dragon look, some rags and face paint on Toothless, and a deep metallic green and bronze for Hiccup. He needs some upgraded armor. This part always reminds me of why I love character design. You're not just picking colors, you're telling a story. Every part of the process helps to fit the character into their world, and in this case, their new world. This includes color choices. Actually, when I was writing my book, Boy Awesome and the Snotpocalypse, that's exactly what I had to do. I had to make the wild idea feel believable. A world-ending wave of snot zombies. Sounds goofy, but once I nailed the tone and the look of all the characters, it just worked. So if you know someone who loves to read and wants to level up their art and move on in their art journey, get my book, Boy Awesome and the Snotpocalypse, which is now available on Amazon. And just how I made those characters fit into their world in the Snotpocalypse, I have to do the same thing here. I want this to feel like Hiccup and Toothless belong in the Marvel Rivals game. So every glow, every fabric fold, every armor plate has to tell that part of the story. And that is also shown in the rendering. The Marvel Rivals art style uses cell shading, and you can even leave in some brushstrokes, which is a lot of fun. Plus, you don't really need to worry about blending things in. But even when doing this cell shaded look, it does help to have some blending in it. Now, I know I just said don't worry about that, but let me explain. I use a soft brush and block out where I want the shadows to be. Don't worry, you're gonna lower the transparency so it's barely noticeable. You don't want your artwork to look muddy. But we're not done yet. Make a new layer and lower the transparency down just a little bit. And use hard shadows. This is cell shading. You can do as many layers as you want to capture that cell shaded look, but I usually go with 3. A soft shadow layer, a hard shadow layer, and another hard shadow which is slightly darker. Oh wait, I misspoke. I also have to do the same thing for the lighting. So that's another 2 or 3 layers. I finished all the rendering, but I need to make this armor on Hiccup look more battle-ridden. So I added some textures. The textures help make things look a little bit more dirty and worn. And then I also used this techie texture to make it look more futuristic. Rendering done, and now I move on to Toothless. It's pretty much the same process, but I want to point out that Marvel Rivals does this awesome rim light. A white glow with a hint of blue and pink, which of course is the best color combination. And after hours and hours of work, I'm finally finished. Here's Hiccup and Toothless in the style of Marvel Rivals. I think they look great. And if you like this, you could watch this video right here, where I draw characters from the Invincible show in the style of Marvel Rivals. My favorite is Conquest. Hit like and subscribe and help me continue to draw and help me improve as an artist. And remember, I'm awesome. I think. Thanks for watching.